Did you know that in this one rectangle on the map you can wake up under 3,000-year-old trees that were ancient when Rome was new, drive past the laboratory where the internet stuttered its first two letters, lo, eat lunch beside the desert that once cooked a man's shoes to his feet, surf a wave that was born somewhere off Japan, and fall asleep watching the same hills burn gold and orange on the evening news? Did you know this is the place that gave the world Hollywood fairy tales and Skid Row nightmares on the same boulevard, that grows 80% of the planet's almonds while its rivers run dry, that launches rockets to Mars from the same coast where people sleep in tents because rent costs more than a mortgage in Manhattan? Did you know that here the ground shakes like it's trying to remind you who's really in charge? The fog rolls in like a silent movie star, and every sunset over the Pacific looks like the sky is showing off just for you, even when your heart is breaking. Did you know that California is not a state? It's a deal with the universe. Give me beauty that hurts, dreams that cost everything, and weather so perfect it makes the rest of the world jealous. And I'll keep coming back no matter how many times you burn me, bankrupt me, or break me. Buckle up. Here are 50 reasons why nobody ever really leaves California. They just spend the rest of their lives trying to get back in. Let's go. Facts 1. California, most populous U.S. state, over 39.5 million people in 2025. California's population is almost the same size as Canada's, and it's larger than Australia's entire population, yet 2/3 of them are stuffed into just 2 metro areas, while the rest are scattered across deserts, 3,000-year-old forests, and 14,000 FT peaks that feel like another planet. You can drive 6 hours from downtown LA and see literally 0 humans, then crawl through 2 hours of gridlock where 500,000 cars try to occupy the same square mile. This insane split personality is why California feels like 5 sovereign nations duct-taped together. You've got the tech utopia of the Bay Area, the movie star dystopia of LA, the libertarian desert compounds, the socialist hippie communes in Mendocino, and the agricultural empire of the Central Valley, all sharing the same license plate and arguing on Nextdoor about water. Facts 2. 8 of the 10 most expensive cities in America are Californian. A modest 1,200 square feet built in San Francisco now costs $1.6 million. Engineers making $450K a year live in RVs parked on the street or commute from towns where houses are only $800K. In Palo Alto, a teardown lot sells for $5 million, just dirt, no house. Google, Apple, and Meta run private luxury tech buses with Wi-Fi and leather seats because their employees can't afford to live within 50 miles of campus. The same state that invented the garage startup now prices actual garages at 7 figures. It's the ultimate paradox. The richer you get, the poorer you feel. Facts 3. Hollywood started as a dusty fig and citrus farm with an actual elephant graveyard. 1887, a teetotaler Kansas couple named it Hollywood because it sounded classy and biblical. By 1911, the first film crew arrived for 300 sunny days a year and a quick escape across the Mexican border if Edison's patent lawyers showed up. Within 15 years, Chaplin, Pickford, and Fairbanks had turned orange groves into the global factory of dreams. The famous sign was originally Hollywoodland, advertising a housing tract. 3 letters fell off and nobody bothered to fix them. The elephant graveyard was real, leftover from a traveling circus. From fruit trees to red carpets in one generation, classic California alchemy. Facts 4. The bear flag flew over an independent country for exactly 25 days. June 14, 1846, 33 hungover settlers in Sonoma captured a sleeping Mexican general, drank all his wine, stitched a flag with a star and a grizzly that looked suspiciously like a pig, and declared the Bear Flag Republic. They wrote a constitution, elected a president, and threw a party. 25 days later, the U.S. Navy sailed into Monterey, raised the stars and stripes, and said, "Nice try, boys." The rebels shrugged and joined the United States. Californians loved the flag so much they made it official in 1850, complete with the extinct bear that still growls proudly on every state building. Facts 5. General Sherman, largest living organism on Earth by volume. 275 feet tall, 103-foot base circumference, roughly 1,900 tons of living wood, 700 years old. It sprouted when Babylon was still a thing and has outlived empires, plagues, and the Roman Empire. It still adds the wood volume of a 60-foot tree every century. A single branch that crashed in 2006 was taller and thicker than most redwoods you'll ever stand under. Rangers built a brick path and a fence so tourists stop hugging it to death. John Muir called these giants ambassadors from another time. In a state obsessed with youth and disruption, General Sherman is the ultimate reminder that some things just refuse to die. Fact 6. Death Valley, hottest reliably recorded temperature on Earth, 134 degrees F, 56.7 degrees C. July 10, 1913, Furnace Creek. Ground hits 200 degrees F, shoes melt, eggs fry on hoods, and the air feels like opening a pizza oven. Lowest point in North America, minus 282 FT, sits just 85 miles from Mount Whitney, the highest in the lower 48. In 1849, a wagon train of gold seekers got lost here. All but one family died. As the survivors finally escaped, one woman turned back and said, "Goodbye, Death Valley," and the name stuck. Today it's a national park where people still die every summer because they underestimate a place that can literally cook you from the inside out. Fact 7. You can experience nearly every climate on Earth in a single day of driving. Leave Mammoth Mountain at 8 a.m. with minus 5 degrees C powder under your skis. Stop for lunch in the Mojave where it's 46 degrees C and the air shimmers like gasoline. Hit Santa Cruz by 4 p.m. for 20 degrees C beach breaks. Then watch fresh snow fall over Lake Tahoe at sunset, all without ever leaving California. No passport, no jet lag, just one tank of gas and a playlist. In winter you can snowboard in the morning and surf the same afternoon. In summer, you can freeze in the Sierra and roast in Death Valley before dinner. This ridiculous climatic roller coaster is why Californians are insufferably smug about weather and why Hollywood never needed soundstages for exotic locations. It's also why the state has more microclimates than most countries have climates, period. One day you're in Alpine Switzerland, the next you're on Tatooine, then you're in Hawaii, then back to Narnia, all on the same license plate. Facts 8. The Golden Gate Bridge is painted international orange on purpose. Chief Engineer Joseph Strauss wanted black and yellow stripes like a giant bumblebee. Consulting architect Irving Morrow took one look at the reddish anti-rust primer glowing through San Francisco's famous fog and said, "We're keeping that." The color was officially named International Orange, and it turned out to be genius. Ships can spot the bridge miles away in zero visibility, cutting collisions by 70%. The bridge sways up to 27 feet in high winds and was built to survive quakes far worse than anything yet thrown at it. Painters work 365 days a year with 38,000 gallons of paint. By the time they finish one end, the other end is rusting again. It's the most photographed, most painted, and with over 2,000 suicides, the saddest beautiful thing humanity ever built. Facts 9. California grows 99% of America's almonds and 80% of the world's supply. The Central Valley's million acres of almond trees drink 10% of the entire state's fresh water, about 1.6 gallons per nut. One Valentine's Day of chocolate-covered almonds requires roughly 80 billion gallons, enough to supply New York City for 2 years. During the 2012-2021 drought, almond orchards kept expanding while cities rationed showers. Farmers and environmentalists scream at each other every summer, trees or people. Bees are trucked in by the billions each February for pollination, creating the largest managed migration of animals on Earth. Meanwhile, the same state that gave us almond milk wellness culture also gave us rivers running dry and fish species going extinct. California, where your $6 latte is both a superfood and a weapon of mass dehydration. Facts 10. Over 280,000 homeless, the highest number in the United States. Skid Row in Los Angeles is 50 blocks of tents, tarps, and despair, 8,000 souls living beside gleaming new $1 billion lofts. Many work full-time jobs, Uber drivers, security guards, fast food cooks, but still can't afford $2,500 studio apartments. You can walk from a homeless encampment to a Tesla dealership in 5 minutes. The state has spent over $24 billion on the crisis in the last 5 years, and the numbers keep rising. Venice Beach Boardwalk now looks like a refugee camp with ocean views. In San Francisco, tech workers step over human feces on their way to $20 million offices. California invented the iPhone, SpaceX, and In-N-Out, yet 1 in 4 homeless Americans sleeps here. The golden dream has a very dark shadow. Facts 11. San Francisco's Chinatown, oldest and largest in North America. Founded in 1848 during the Gold Rush, this wasn't just a neighborhood, it was a sovereign nation inside the United States. Chinese people were banned from living anywhere else, taxed extra just for existing, denied citizenship and court testimony, yet they built their own banks, hospitals, newspapers, and secret Tong societies. The 1906 earthquake plus fire burned every birth record. Right arrow. Tens of thousands used the paper sun loophole to bring relatives legally for the next 50 years. Today it still looks exactly like the old days, with over 35 hidden alleys tourists never find. And it's the only place in America where you can get dim sum at 3 a.m. or buy a whole roast pig mooncake hanging like a lantern. Facts 12. If counted alone, California's economy is the 5th largest in the world, 2025, $4.1 trillion. Bigger than India, France, and Italy combined. Silicon Valley alone creates more value than the entire Russian economy. In 2025, 6 of the world's 10 most valuable companies are headquartered here: Apple, Nvidia, Google, Meta, Tesla, Broadcom. But the drama, it also has America's highest real poverty rate when you factor in cost of living. Families in LA earning $150K still need food stamps because rent eats 60–70% of income. State debt, $550 billion, $23 billion a year spent just on homeless programs. In short, billionaire heaven, working class hell. Facts 13. California has 1,350 km of coastline. From Mexico to Oregon, driving Highway 1 takes 15–18 hours, and you never get bored. Big Sur, Malibu, Monterey, Half Moon Bay, some stretches are so beautiful Apple used them as default macOS wallpapers for years. But this same coast is literally falling into the Pacific because of climate change. Sections of Highway 1 collapse every year, repairs cost hundreds of millions and take 1–2 years. One spot in Big Sur slid 3 times in 5 years. Locals joke, Highway 1 isn't a road, it's a beautiful curse. Facts 14. Mount Whitney, 4,421 m, and Death Valley, -86 m, are only 138 km apart. Biggest elevation difference in the contiguous 48 states. Morning on Whitney, highest point in the lower 48, afternoon at Badwater Basin, lowest point in the Western Hemisphere. Someone once walked from lowest to highest in under 24 hours, then needed therapy. Nowhere else on Earth has this insane contrast in such a short distance. Facts 15. California produces 81% of U.S. wine from over 240,000 hectares of grapes. Napa Valley alone has more than 450 wineries, more than France has 3 Michelin star restaurants. A single bottle of Opus One or Screaming Eagle can go for $7,000, $10,000, and people still line up. Yet 90% of grape pickers are Mexican immigrants earning $17.20/HR in 42 degrees C heat with no insurance or days off. A journalist once asked a picker, "Do you ever drink the wine you harvest?" He answered, "Nah, I just drink Tecate. That wine is for rich people in San Francisco." Fact 16. Apple, Google, Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, Netflix, Disney, Adobe, all born here. Apple started in a Los Altos garage, Google in a Menlo Park garage, HP's Palo Alto garage is now a national landmark. Silicon Valley is officially the land of billion-dollar garages. Those garages are now worth tens of millions just for their history. There's even a $150 head tour to see them. Fact 17. The bear on California's state flag went extinct in 1922. California grizzlies once weighed up to a ton. Spaniards called them devils. Hunted to zero between 1850 and 1922 for fat cosmetics and rugs. The last one was shot in 1922 in the San Joaquin Valley. Now the flag proudly shows a bear that no longer exists. The funniest irony in American flag history. Facts 18. Hollywood Walk of Fame, over 2,800 stars, endless drama. Costs $50,000 plus heavy lobbying to get one. Some pay and still get rejected. Leonardo DiCaprio twice. Trump's star was pickaxed twice and replaced. Kevin Spacey was completely removed in 2018. Eastwood, Clooney, Roberts all said no thanks. Facts 19. California has 9 national parks, more than any other state. Yosemite, Joshua Tree, Redwood, Death Valley, Sequoia, Kings Canyon, Channel Islands, Pinnacles, Lassen. Over 40 million visitors a year, more than Canada's entire population. Peak summer Yosemite alone can hit 80,000 people a day. You now need reservations 6 months ahead like it's a Taylor Swift concert. Facts 20. 1,849 gold rush turned California from 14,000 people to over 300,000 in 5 years. San Francisco went from an 800-person fishing village in 1847 to 36,000 in 1852. Most 49ers went broke, starved, or died of disease. The guys who sold shovels, jeans, leave was born here, and whiskey became millionaires. Some crossed mountains and deserts for 8 months from New York just to dig a few grams and starve. California's origin story begins with greed and ends with blue jeans. Facts 21. More than 100 languages spoken on the streets every day. LA public schools have kids speaking 138 native languages, more than the UN. Orange County alone has Little Saigon, 300K Vietnamese, the world's second biggest Koreatown, 500K Koreans. Tehrangel's largest Iranian community outside Iran. Little Armenia, Thai town, historic Filipino town, all within 50 km. At PH letter 1B0, letter 1EDBC, L letter 1ED9C, TH letter 1ECD, you can eat Kobe beef pho at 2 a.m., Korean barbecue at 3 a.m., Armenian coffee at 4 a.m. No place on earth is this multilingual and still functions. Facts 22. Los Angeles has the second largest Mexican community in the world. 4.8 million people of Mexican descent. Only Mexico City has more. East LA gave us lowriders, cholo culture, and La Bamba. Cinco de Mayo here is so huge they shut down the 101 freeway. There are radio stations that play banda and corridos 24/7, and Mexican telenovelas get higher ratings than in Mexico itself. Boyle Heights tacos beat CDMX, and the old lady selling them still calls you Mijo, even if you're Vietnamese. Facts 23. The tallest tree on Earth is hidden somewhere in California. Hyperion stands 379.7 ft, taller than Big Ben in Redwood National Park, but the exact location is a state secret. Rangers won't even give the trail name. Too many influencers tried to hug it to death. The ground around the old giants is now compacted and killing roots. In 2021, drone flyers got fined $5,000 for buzzing too close. The tree is older than England as a kingdom. Facts 24. Giant sequoias grow naturally only in California. Nowhere else on the planet do trees over 90 m tall and 3,200 years old grow wild. Hyperion, 115.92 m, is the tallest living tree. The US government keeps its exact location secret so tourists don't kill it. They once cut a tunnel through one Wawona tree for cars until it fell in 1969. John Muir said, "Walking among them is like entering God's cathedral, except the ceiling is higher than any human church." Facts 25. California legalized fully driverless cars in 2012. By 2025, over 1,000 robotaxis, Waymo, Cruise roam San Francisco. 1 week a Cruise caught fire in the middle of Market Street, and people treated it like a festival. Folks put sex dolls in the passenger seat to troll or stand in front of the car for hours because it won't hit anyone. An 80-year-old lady in SF calls Waymo every day just to cruise the city because it's cheaper than Uber and doesn't talk. Facts 26. Disneyland 1955, the world's first Disney park and the darkest day in theme park history. Opening day July 17, 1955 was called Black Sunday. 30,000 people when only 11,000 were invited, 38 degrees C heat, high heels sank into fresh asphalt, no drinking water, no food. The Mark Twain steamboat almost sank from overload. Walt Disney hid in his secret apartment above the firehouse and cried. 10 years later, it became the global symbol of happiness. Today, a peak day ticket is $206. In 1955, it was $3.50. Facts 27. 500,000 small earthquakes a year, one every minute. Most you never feel, but the 1994 Northridge quake killed 57 and cost $44 billion. The San Andreas Fault is a 1,200 km time bomb. Scientists say 70–80% chance of the big one, 7.5, in the next 30 years. Californians still buy houses and joke, if we didn't have earthquakes, how would we know we're alive? Facts 28. San Diego has America's most perfect weather. Average 21 degrees C, 266 sunny days, low humidity. The U.S. Navy built its biggest Pacific base here partly because sailors refuse transfers. Locals call everywhere else places with actual weather. Studies say moving from SF to San Diego adds 3 years to your life just from less weather stress. Facts 29. California invented the modern skateboard and the extreme sports industry. 1950s, Santa Monica surfers nailed roller skate wheels to 2x4 when waves were flat. By 1975, the Z-Boys of Dogtown turned empty swimming pools into vertical playgrounds. Tony Alva, Stacy Peralta, and Jay Adams filmed it, and suddenly skateboarding became a billion-dollar culture. Facts 30. Largest and most powerful LGBTQ+ community in America. San Francisco's Castro elected Harvey Milk in 1977, the first openly gay official on Earth. SF Pride draws over 1.5 million people, sometimes bigger than Rio Carnival. In 2008, when California banned same-sex marriage, people held mass weddings on the Golden Gate Bridge in protest. In 2015, when it became legal nationwide, the cheering in Castro registered on Berkeley's seismographs. Facts 31. Lake Tahoe, the largest alpine lake in North America by volume, holds 150 trillion liters of water, so clear you can see the bottom at 23 meters deep. Winter snow piles 10–15 m high, summer turns the water emerald turquoise. Mark Zuckerberg bought 2 lakeside estates totaling over 1,000 acres for nearly $100 million just to have private beaches. But the drama, from 2012–2022, the water level dropped 3 meters because of drought plus billionaires pumping it for golf courses. Locals now need permits to kayak so they don't disturb the clarity. Locals say, Tahoe is so beautiful it makes people forget it can die. Facts 32. California invented the fortune cookie, cheeseburger, French dip sandwich, and maybe the Cobb salad. Fortune cookie was actually created by a Japanese baker in LA between 1914 and 1918, not China. The cheeseburger was born in 1926 at Lionel Sternberger's roadside stand in Pasadena when he melted cheese on a patty and shouted, "What a cheeseburger." The French dip came from Philippe the Original in LA in 1918 when the chef accidentally dropped the roll in jus. The Cobb salad is still fought over between Hollywood's Brown Derby and a Santa Barbara restaurant. Bottom line, California doesn't just eat well, it invents what the world eats. Facts 33. California grows 90% of America's avocados and started the global guacamole religion. Every Super Bowl, 100 million pounds of California avocados become guac. Hass variety was patented in 1935 by a La Habra mailman named Rudolph Hass. His original mother tree died in 2002, but every single Hass avocado on Earth is its clone. Droughts and cartels in Michoacan now threaten the supply, but Californians will riot before giving up their $15 toast. Facts 34. Lakers plus Warriors own 24 NBA championships. Lakers 17, including Minneapolis era, Warriors 7. From 2015-2018, the Warriors won 3 out of 4 titles and made the entire country lose its mind. In 2022, they won the chip in Boston and LA fans flew cross-country just to scream outside the arena. Lakers have Kobe, Magic, Shaq, LeBron. Every loss feels like a citywide blackout. In LA, they say there are only 2 religions, the Lakers and hatting the Celtics. Facts 35. Alcatraz, the inescapable prison where 3 men may have actually escaped in 1962. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers spent 9 months digging with spoons, made dummy heads from soap plus real hair, and paddled away on a raincoat raft into the foggy bay. The FBI insists they drowned, no bodies were ever found. Relatives received handwritten letters and cash from South America years later saying, "We are fine, stop looking." Mythbusters recreated it in 2018 and concluded survival was possible if they caught the right current. Biggest unsolved mystery in U.S. prison history. Facts 36. California has the second most Nobel Prize winners in the world, after New York. 68 laureates as of 2025. UC Berkeley alone has 25, more than France plus Germany plus Japan combined. Stanford 22, Caltech 20. In 2023, 3 of the 4 American Nobel winners worked in California. People joke, "Want a Nobel? Move here, the air is smarter." Facts 37. The internet literally started here, first packet sent from UCLA to Stanford in 1969. October 29, 1969, the letters LO, the beginning of login, were sent before the system crashed. The entire global internet began with a typo. UCLA still keeps the original machine in a museum. Stanford has a plaque, the place that received the letters LO and changed the world. Facts 38. 58 counties, from tiny San Francisco, 121 square kilometers, to gigantic San Bernardino, 52,000 square kilometers, bigger than 9 U.S. states. San Bernardino is larger than Switzerland plus Belgium combined, yet 90% is empty desert. San Francisco is the smallest city county, just 7 times 7 miles, but packs 900,000 people and the whole world inside. Alpine County has only 1,200 residents, but 700 miles of highways to plow every winter. Facts 39. Longest carpool lane system in the world. People buy inflatable dolls to fake passengers. In LA, some carpool lanes stretch over 100 km, only for cars with 2-3 people or EVs. Solo drivers buy blow-up sex dolls, dress them, and even put fake coffee cups in their hands. One guy got busted and fined $500, but still said, "Still cheaper than sitting in regular lanes for 2 hours." Facts 40. Modern surf culture was born here, Malibu, Huntington Beach, Santa Cruz. Beach Boys, the 1959 movie Gidget, the album Endless Summer, everything started on these beaches. Huntington Beach officially won the title Surf City USA in court against Santa Cruz. Every year the US Open of Surfing brings 6-8-meter waves and crowds cheering from the pier like it's the Super Bowl. People say, in California, surfing isn't a sport, it's a religion, and the waves are the church. Facts 41. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake flattened 80% of the city in under a minute. April 18, 1906, 5:12 a.m., 7.9 magnitude. Fires burned for 4 days because every water main broke. Between 3,000 and 8,000 people died, 225,000 were left homeless, and 490 city blocks became ash. Yet just 9 years later, San Francisco threw the Panama Pacific International Exposition to brag to the world. We burned to the ground and rose prettier. Some say the earthquake is the reason San Francisco became the proud, slightly insane city it is today. Facts 42. 35 million fruit and nut trees. Every spring the Central Valley becomes a white and pink ocean. Almond blossoms in February, March turn a million acres into something more beautiful than Japan's cherry blossoms. Tourists fly drones for wedding photos, bees black out the sky, and California almond honey ends up on shelves from Tokyo to Paris. But to keep that ocean of flowers alive, the state uses 10% of its entire freshwater supply just on almonds. Every drought year the fight restarts, trees or people. Facts 43. In-N-Out Burger runs a secret burger university in Baldwin Park. Only hand-picked employees get in. They teach you to hand-cut fries, grill patties exactly 2 minutes 15 seconds per side, and layer tomato onion lettuce so the bun never gets soggy. The secret menu, animal style 4x4 Flying Dutchman, isn't printed anywhere, yet everyone knows it. People line up an hour for a $5 burger you can't get anywhere else in the country. Fans fly in from Japan, eat once, and fly home the same day. Facts 44. There's a real town called Rzeszów, created to be dead last in the phone book. In 1944, a radio evangelist quack doctor named Curtis House Springer squatted on desert land, built a fake health spa, and named it Rzeszów, pronounced Zyzix, so it would be the final listing in every directory. He sold miracle cures until the feds arrested him in 1974. Today it's a legit desert research center run by Cal State, but the name remains the last laugh of a magnificent con man. Facts 45. More than 120,000 inmates, the largest prison system in the United States. San Quentin had America's first gas chamber and once housed Charles Manson. Pelican Bay keeps the worst of the worst in solid door cells 23 hours a day. The system got so overcrowded that in 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the conditions cruel and unusual. California responded by releasing tens of thousands early, sparking endless fights. Public safety versus human rights. Facts 46. Mediterranean climate, dry summers, wet winters, almost nowhere else in the U.S. 300 sunny days a year, perfect for filming movies outdoors, which is why Hollywood moved here in 1910, and for growing wine grapes that the rest of the country can't match. But climate change is breaking the system. Summers now 7-10 degrees F hotter, rain arriving late or not at all, wildfires exploding every single year. Facts 47. First state to ban single-use plastic bags, 2016. Bring your own or pay 10 cents for paper. Californians screamed at first, now it's muscle memory. Plastic straws, plastic cutlery, and tiny hotel shampoo bottles are next. Whatever California bans today, the rest of America, and often the world, bans tomorrow. Facts 48. Californians are pathologically proud, even while complaining. They'll spend 2 hours telling you traffic is hell, houses are impossible, fires and quakes are coming, taxes are robbery, yet the second you suggest moving somewhere cheaper they look at you like you just insulted their mother and say, "Yeah, but we have the weather, the beaches, the tacos at 2 a.m., and most importantly, this is California." Facts 49. Wildfires now routinely burn an area the size of Hanoi plus Ho Chi Minh City combined every single year. The 2018 Camp Fire erased the entire town of Paradise in 6 hours, 85 dead, $16.5 billion in damage. The 2020 August Complex Fire was larger than the state of Rhode Island. August through November, people don't ask, will there be fires? They ask, where do I evacuate this week? Smoke has officially become California's autumn scent. Facts 50. California isn't a state, it's a religion. People come here to be reborn, to get rich, to become famous, to fall apart, to surf, to code the future, to grow legal weed, to sleep under bridges, to jump off the Golden Gate, or to stand beneath 3,200-year-old trees and cry because humans are tiny. It has Paradise, Big Sur, Napa, and Hell, Skid Row, Death Valley on the same freeway exit. You can hate it for being expensive, chaotic, arrogant, and fake, but you will never be indifferent. Because once in your life you have to visit California, just to understand why millions of people are still willing to trade everything for one more day inside this beautiful, broken, impossible dream.